Welcome to 31 Days of Horror with me, Aaron, as your guide through these 31 days to 31 horror films that I've watched from pretty much my first time. Today is day 13. We're doing Strange Darling, a 2024 film that you can now rent on any streaming platform that rents. So before I review this film, I want to give you a trigger warning. There feels like there's going to be sexual abuse that happens in it, and I want to trigger you that there is some BDSM kind of stuff, but most of it all is consensual in some way. So I just like to trigger warning that just in case that is something that you get triggered by, that you are pretty much in the clear. How to watch Strange Darling. This film needs your attention. It does. You need to stay in it with it. So nothing that can distract you around. Yeah, no other conversations, no other kinds of activity, and not with a person that wants to talk throughout a film. Be ready for the ride of it. And for Aaron's horror tip, and which is kind of more turning into Aaron's opinion segment, this one is directed to award circuits, the Oscars themselves, the Golden Globes, all those film award shows. It's time to start seeing genre films as contenders for your awards. You leaving out these films is just actually a joke on you, and it's actually probably even more beneficial to the genre as a whole, these films as a whole, that you're not recognizing. This film deserves your consideration, especially its two leads and their acting in it. And on top of that, Willa Fitzgerald, this is like tour de force. Don't do to her what you did to Toni Collette from Hereditary. It's time to get it together. It's time for my 1 minute summary. I'm just going to tell you in a minute what this film generally about without giving spoilers away, so you can watch it and know what you're in for without watching trailers, without having to read a summary. In three, in two, in one. Uh, I, I didn't know much about this film going into it. I just heard it was really good and the acting was great, which is true. So I don't want to give too much away to you, but it's told non-linearly, the story, and it's just about two people and their one night stand and what happens in that one night stand. There is blood and gore in it, and it is gruesome, and there is a serial killer. It starts the film with saying that there's a serial killer and how the serial killer's end came to be. Um, and it's told within 6 chapters, which is kind of cool. And we're bouncing all over to put the puzzle together, which I really enjoyed. So that's it. It's about two people, into a woman and a man, in their one night stand and the ride that occurs from their one night stand. And I'm not even using the whole minute because I just want to keep as much of a mystery as I can. But yeah, so that's erroneous thoughts time. I'm going to give you all my opinions and thoughts about this film. Not all of them, but anything I can within a minute. I've got a minute to tell you. We're going in three, in two, in one. Loved this film. Freaking loved this film. I wanted to watch it right away again. It's just my kind of film. It feels very like Tarantino inspired while also being like a serial killer movie, while also being horror. It is horror. I know a lot of people will like check me on that, but this is horrific things that happen in it, and that's what classifies horror to me. This is horror, um, and it's bloody. It's great. Oh, I love it. It's nonlinear. The acting. Oh my gosh, I was just in for the ride. I was locked in. Not many movies have done that to me lately where I just didn't want to take my eyes away from the screen. Oh my goodness, the beauty of it. It was beautifully shot. The music, it was just great. Well done all around. I can't commend it any more than that. It just, if those kind of things sound like a film you'd be into, watch Strange Darling. You're missing out. This is time for Aaron's experience of how I watched the film. I watched this alone. Alone, guessed it. I really wished I went to the theaters. I almost went to the movie theaters, and then stuff happened, and I wasn't able to go. But this movie was meant to be seen on a big screen. It was meant to be heard. That music, the cinematography. Giovanni Ribisi was the cinematographer, the director of photography for this. Like, what? It's wild. It was so good. This movie was meant to be seen in the dark barn. That's what Steven Spielberg calls the movie theaters, the dark barn, because it is. It's an experience. There's some movies that need that part of their experience, and I'm just, unfortunately for me, that wasn't a part of mine, and I regret it. Time for Stick the Ending. Love this segment because I think that horror movies ending tells a lot about the film as a whole. You know, one is I just don't enjoy the ending, and number five is like, yeah, I enjoy that ending. And y'all, it's a five. It's a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5. This film is great the way it's told in the nonlinear way so that we can get to this ending. So well done. And the ending is a tour de force. I don't want to give away too much about it, but a tour de force. If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that ending, that moment. Still affects me, still in it. That's a 5 if I did say it. Horror, it's subjective. Art is subjective. What scares us is subjective. All of these things, it's personal. That's what makes horror great. That's why I like to hear other people's opinions. And rather than putting it in a genre, because horror is a broad genre, I want to give it a category. And typically I have like 1 to 3 to 4 things I want to say about a film in its category. But I think in saying any of the categories for this film, it's just going to give away too much about the film. And this film deserves for you to just go and experience it. So I'm going to give it 1 word category. Never been done before. Doing for Strange Darling. It's a ride. That's all I can say about it. It is a ride from start to finish. A ride. And time to ask myself the question, would I stab it again? I think that rather than giving a film a rating or a review in that way, all in would I stab it again? Would I see it again? Would I watch it again? If you watch this video, you know the answer. Yeah, I'm stabbing it again. I wanted to stab it right away. I want to stab it over and over and over. I'm going to stab it again. I'm going to go watch it. And I accidentally thought I was renting the film. I bought the film by accident. At first I was like, oh, God. And now I'm happy I bought it. Eventually it'll be on streaming and it won't matter, but I bought it. And I'm glad I gave the money to these creators. So let me know what you thought in the comments about Strange Darling. It is a strange darling. And I love her. I love this film. Don't make me feel alone in it. Did you love it? And if you didn't love it, tell me why. Happy Halloween.